Welcome to The Purpose Effect, the space where we get honest, we get intentional, and we get aligned with the life God has designed for us. I am Alesha, your host on Mondays, and of course, my friend David does it on Wednesdays, and we do it together on Fridays. And our mission is simple, you guys, to help you stop floating through life and to start living with purpose, clarity, and action. And today I have an amazing friend on. You guys are going to love her. I actually met her at the Black Hills Christian Women's Conference back in January. And instantly, even before that, we were talking online and connecting, but getting to meet her in person and getting a hug from her, it was an instant connection. So let me introduce you guys to Shaina. She is a coach, speaker, and creator of the Anchoring Amidst framework, where she teaches that resilience is not simply discovered, it is built on purpose. Forged through her own journey of grief, burnout, and rebuilding, her work helps women and return to their God-given vision and develop the internal anchors needed to lead, live, and grow with steadiness. Blending guided journaling, identity-based planning, and community, Shaina offers a grounded approach to resilience that replaces burnout cycles with clarity, confidence, and sustainable rhythm. I don't know about you guys, but as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, holy buckets, this lines up with exactly what I'm all passionate about. Wow, this is like perfect. And that's why you can see like we're like two peas in a pod. Hello, sweet friend. How are you?
Oh man, I have been enjoying summer in March. Let's just call it that.
Isn't it crazy? I feel like it's the twilight zone when I go out and I'm like, wait, I live in South Dakota. And what time of year is this?
I know, I'm like, I want to be in my garden in full bloom. I'm like, come on, guys, keep up with me.
It is so crazy, but I'm being intentional and I'm enjoying it. Though I would also say when we got some snow last week, I was like, I'm going to soak up this too because I'm being intentional in any season of my life. But
Yeah.
sweet friend, thank you for being on. And I would love for you to just share some of your story today, just so people can see the heart that you have and what God has done in you and through you.
Yes. So my story comes when I bring up resilience, right? As you mentioned, it comes from building it, not knowing I had it or what I was going to use it for. And
Mm,
I was in sales and just rubbing elbows and making connections and keeping things alive, right? Like just going with that and setting that intention of if they spend time or money with me, they just get my love, right? If they are in that realm, they get something. And just keeping those relationships alive in whatever way. As a young person, a baby boomer millennial, if you can put those two together, I was forced into relationships of keeping things alive and like sending thank you notes and doing the thing, right? But not knowing what I was building that up to.
yeah.
And then going into outside sales and personal development and kind of this whole world that I didn't know a ton about, I just started like putting things out there,
Yeah.
like just sending that love because everything you
Yes.
send out, you get
Yeah.
back,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But the caveat is we don't know how or when.
Yeah.
That is not something we can plan.
No, though I would love it if we could.
Oh, I know. I know.
But
Because,
God,
oh, and the thing is, like, we just can't know. Because if we knew, we would do things differently and we would humanize it and we would mess it up.
yes, yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and so I'm going along and I'm doing this thing, right? And I'm like, okay, all these connections, they just keep coming. I change careers, they just keep flowing. And somewhere in the change of COVID, right, big
Mhm.
turn, I went from outside sales into my coaching business. And I had already had my foot out the door, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, right? 126% is what my husband said. He's go for that. And I just stuck with the number because I'm a numbers girl.
Well,
But I kept going. So shifting careers, doing the thing. And then as we were expecting our first child, things are going, right? and then they weren't.
Mm.
And he was full term stillborn. And that devastation,
Yeah.
that hits your community
Yeah.
and the people around you. You never know who it's going to be, how they're going to show up, and who just can't show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And those connections, that foundation I had built, not knowing what was going to come. Wow. And having built that, like I built that foundation,
Mm.
not knowing what I needed it for.
Yes.
And then I found myself in the middle of this destruction, right? All
Yeah.
this rubble,
Mm.
but I had a foundation.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, survive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had to answer the question for myself, like, how did I survive?
Yeah.
Like, where did that strength come from?
Yeah.
And the answer was resilience and
Mm.
connection.
Yeah.
So,
Which is so powerful because I think
yeah.
I love how God uses those situations when we walk through them and is so heartbreaking, is so gut wrenching. And you do in those moments, you have to go, God, where are you? And then as time goes on and he lets us catch the glimpses of, this is what you were doing. This is, oh my goodness, God, you not only are you weaving stuff since then, but you are weaving stuff even before that and building it up, and we didn't even know it. And that goes back to trusting him in all of it, that it's just leaning into him. So now, since then, as you've processed the loss of your son and the grief from that, I think that's something that never goes away, right? It's something that you still are working through. What are some things, and you've been able to identify resiliency, what are some things that you've learned and how have you applied it to your life today?
Gosh. So I went on a hunt,
Yeah.
right? I was like, okay, if I had this, where did it come from? How did I get it? Right?
Yeah.
Like rabbit hole. So you mentioned like how long something has been in the works,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And all the things that had to be in place. It's a wow God thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so it started with gratitude. It
Mm.
started with, as I was picking up those details, it was just thank you. Wow, wow. And then you're sitting in it and it's just so much. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much of it. And I just become overwhelmed with gratitude. And you just sit in and you're like, why am I even crying about this red crayon? And my husband's okay, that was way too many dots to connect. I have to sit down for that one. But it's not just one thing. It never is.
Yes. Yeah. He always weaves it. I always talk about our lives are like a tapestry. And on the back side of the tapestry, it looks horrible. And you're like, what is this? And then when God lets you catches glimpse of the front side of it, oh my goodness, that's magnificent. But there is all these connections that have to occur to build this tapestry. One of the things, so you talk a lot about gratitude, and I think I just keep going back to James 1, verses 2 through 4 or 5 of talking about considering it pure joy, that you will go through trials, you are going to go through hard times. God does not say, oh, hey, so you know me, now I'm going to make life easy. In fact, it's going to be harder because I think one, Satan doesn't want us to walk out our purpose. But I love how he keeps consider it pure joy as you go through this. And I think what a powerful way of you putting it of I had to find the gratitude in it. I
Mhm.
had, and just sitting in that, and then also creating that level of awareness. I think that's a lot of us just aren't aware of how to even do that. So, in those really hard, dark moments, and you're finding gratitude, how did you begin to see the shifts occur?
I think the biggest thing started before,
Yeah.
right? And it's not, I love it. I had this client of mine, she attended a workshop and she was like, I did not want to attend a workshop on gratitude, but I like you, so I went. Okay.
Thank
And
you.
I'm like, okay, thanks. But it's not necessarily the gratitude or what culture thinks
Yeah.
it is, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is way more than that. It becomes self-trust. It
Mm,
becomes connection, right? As you're
yeah.
connecting all those dots and all those people
Yes.
and all, it just it all can be filtered through gratitude. And gratitude is also, it's not only something you can do and partake in, right?
Yeah.
But it's an actual emotion.
Yeah.
And so when you're choosing a high vibration emotion, right?
Yeah.
Something that gets you up here, I describe it as emotional whiplash. Okay. So you are like way down here and you're like, but this. And it's like, really? That was big. Now I have to do it again. But it's chosen. And so when we can filter it through that gratitude, and so this friend and client of mine was like, but I win, right? And it's not about what the culture thinks. Oh, just have more gratitude. Just write your 10 things every day. It's like that's not it. Like it's
Yeah.
if you make it instead of a list, I'm just getting this visual here. Instead of that list, make it linear. Like all
Oh,
those dots,
yeah.
all those things, right?
Yeah.
Because when you can actually connect
Yeah.
all those things, then it doesn't just become a list, it becomes like a package.
Yes. Yeah. And I think you hit it too on the nail on the head when you talked about it's a choice.
Yeah.
Like we always have a choice in it, like even in the heartbreak, even in the midst of chaos or any of those things, we still have a choice. Do we choose to be grateful in it or not? And
Yep.
I think that's such a powerful thing for people to recognize and realize is that they don't have to stay in that woe is me or not even the maybe the bitterness or shame or any of those. Yes, you're going to walk through them, but you get to have the choice of how long do you want to stay in them and do you want to get out to the other side and find gratitude. And it's such a powerful shift. So, what areas, like, as you've really pivoted your life and you've taken time to now really reflect all the way back, see how God built this foundation for you, work through the heartache and the heartbreak, and walked it. Now, how are you helping others to implement it? Like, what are things that you are helping others to walk through?
One thing I wanted to, I don't know, highlight or point out as you're asking that question, it took me a long time to actually even give God credit.
The process.
Yeah, like it's not just the universe, it's not just luck, it's not just like these things, right?
Yeah.
It's God, like only
Yeah.
he can orchestrate this stuff. And so as I processed that on top of everything else, right?
Yeah.
That is what has empowered me to then share my story, right? To
Mm,
then give
yeah.
away these kind of discoveries or pillars, or I've called them bricks as well, right? Like we pick them up and we can stack them and it can become something functional and restorative and fortifying for us.
Yeah.
And so that piece, giving God credit, like stuck everything together for me. And so then once I can do that, now everything else that he gives me, I can give away.
Yeah. Which is powerful because it goes, yeah, to be able to, he walks us through these things, not always for us and our process, but how can we help others? How can
Right.
we help? Because everybody's going through something. And then we're making the choice, do we want to help others to walk through it and God be our hands and feet? And you even talked about that at the beginning of how can you bring value to people? Like your heart, even in sales and stuff, is like, how can I bring value to you? And so I see you continuing that pattern, even in the heartbreak and the heartache and the loss, and going, okay, now how can I actually bring value to others through this? How can
Mhm.
I shift their lives and do that? And it's such a powerful thing. I wish more people could live like that. And I think that's where you and I are on this journey of how can we help others to do this? Like,
Right.
I want to
To
help.
not be living in that either the isolation
Yes.
or within that story that then says, okay, but how do we use this? Like, how do we
Yeah.
finish that sentence? How do we put punctuation on that
Yeah.
to make it not only our own, but to
Yeah.
then be able to give it away?
Yeah. It's so awesome. So now you've done a journal, correct, or Bible
Mhm.
study and stuff. Can you share a little bit about what you've all done in that area and what are some of the resources that people can actually reach out to you and get from you?
Yeah. So I haven't currently written any Bible studies.
Okay. Okay.
It is something
Well,
that people do.
maybe I say maybe that's a God thing. I'm just saying maybe that was just a
Well,
little slip that God's saying,
I know,
"Hey,
right?
listen to what she just said."
The Holy Spirit was like,
Hey, I'm telling
um,
you, like you're asking for a sign and she
yes.
said it, like it's
Yeah, I
there.
know, I know, I know. Currently, I have a guided journal. And so this is called Anchoring Amidst. So it's taking all of that framework, all of those rediscoveries, and I put it in journal prompt form.
Mm,
So as you're doing this for yourself, you're doing it almost without fully being like immersed in the
yeah.
how. It's just
Yeah.
that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it came from, so I've discovered these anchors. I'd
Mhm.
found and formulated this framework. I'd walked it through in my sisterhood group coaching program, and
Yeah.
it hit really well. So I'm like, okay, we're going to just keep piecing this along. And then this last summer, things didn't go as planned. Like I had this trajectory of what the summer was going to look like, and then my car broke down, and then we
Mhm.
decided not to do the next, like, my husband told his boss, "Hey, can I go on the second crew instead of the first crew?" And then the second crew never went. Okay.
Oh,
And so I'm sitting there in mid-June, and I'm like, okay, God, what's this going to look
yeah.
like? I thought I had my summer planned, but now I don't. So,
Yeah.
and I'm journaling this out, and these journal prompts start just pouring out of me.
Mm.
And they're categorizing themselves under these pillars. And I'm like, okay. And so this guided journal is born. And so I like to say, I wrote the opening letter and the closing letter, and you get to write the rest.
Oh, I love
Okay.
that.
And so that is definitely 1,000% a way that you can plug into yourself, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the second piece is I have different resources on my resources page on my website, shainahargens.com or anchoringamidst.com. And those are going to get you into a resilience blueprint
Yeah.
on what it looks like to get out of the burnout cycle, what it looks like for
Yeah.
you, not
Yeah.
because we're all so individual on how
Yeah.
we've gotten here and where we're headed, right?
Yeah.
And so I've got those, I've got my sisterhood program. Just hit me up. We can make something happen. You'll know where to start.
I love that. And I think, especially with the idea of a guided journal, because a lot of people just don't know where to start. Like they want to do it, but like how and where do I start? And so having that framework there for them, I think is such a powerful way to say, okay, let's dig deep. Here's some ways to get you moving. Here's some ideas how to push you forward. Explain a little bit. You said something about sisterhood. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So this sisterhood, every week we meet, and then every other week we go into a little deeper dive. So every week it's like a miniature podcast. So I get on, I give my like 10-minute spiel on putting boots on the ground on personal development. So I take this idea or this word or a title, and we put boots on the ground. Like, how do we make this happen today in what we do? I usually end with a journal prompt of some kind or something. And then we go into a live discussion where we say, okay, how do we apply this in our life? A couple weeks ago, I did a session on luck. It's on Tuesdays. And
Okay.
so it was St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, all right, ladies,
Quick
let's talk
timing.
about luck. And it's so funny. I think I've done that because we're working through our third year. And I've done that at least one other time I remember of just, hey, it's luck, right? And I just share, I just let it flow.
Yeah.
And I have a question, and then we talk about it. So it's like a group style, I don't know, almost podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. And anybody can hop on this, or is it open to anybody?
It is a
Or is it like a
membership.
little group? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we do open sessions every
Okay.
month where you just come in and we don't put on a show, we just do our next thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I do open sessions every month, and it is a membership that we
Okay.
follow through with. So
It's so awesome. And okay, so then now let me ask you this. What are some things besides now we talked about, it sounds like God wants you to do Bible study, but what are some other things that you feel that God's maybe pushing you in, or what direction is God leading you next?
Yes. I'd say there's two directions. So when it comes to writing, it's taking what I've done in the journal and turning it into a playbook. So going through those six pillars and
Yeah.
doing mini mastery workbook style
Okay.
on that. So that's in the works. It's probably about 30% done. And it is something that we're already walking through in sisterhood. Like it's just
Yeah.
something that we do. And then the second one is I'm going to be hosting a retreat this spring in a
It.
few weeks. And it's going to be a deep dive, boots on the ground, hands on. Like, how do you reset into your identity and then
Mm,
actually plug it into your calendar so you can actually go do the thing,
yeah.
live in fulfillment, and know what's right and what's next.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. That's super awesome. So with that, if somebody, and we'll wrap up with this. If somebody is struggling to find their purpose, if they are struggling to know, God, where do you have me going? What do you want me to do? What would you recommend just really for a practical step to get into the groove of finding their purpose?
Open space, leave space for it. Okay. Whether it's having that space in your planner, leave it blank, right? Don't
Mhm.
fill it in or bullet journal the crap out of it, right?
Yes.
Like, leave that open space. Write down what's inspiring you. If you don't know an answer, you don't have to write anything.
Yeah.
And the second part of that is you do have the answers and there's no right or wrong answer. So do the thing, right? But that open space, it leaves room for movement,
Yeah.
right? So that, oh, I'm not having a good day. Maybe I have space for a bubble bath, or I this thing's going on. You know what? I can say no over here so that I have space.
It's it seems so simple, but it's actually a really powerful idea because I think there's so many we live in like how full can our day be and we justify our like oh my value comes by how busy I am and so we just stack up our schedule and then we wonder why we are burned out, we wonder why we're exhausted. And so I love that idea. I know a friend of mine, she is going on a solo retreat and she's been doing these for the last 15 years and she goes and she spends a few days by herself with nobody and she just focuses on listening to what God is saying. And I think that not all of us can take those few days off, but I love the
Yeah,
idea of just blocking it in your calendar and giving that open space.
yeah,
And that's where
not
God can move.
yes, not every space needs to be filled in. You don't get a stamp at the end of the day or a
Yeah.
sticker. You don't get the little gold sticker. So,
The little star ones.
yeah, you know the one. But having that space, right? And then your lists, whoa, girl. Like, let's create some space between your list and yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Shaina, thank you so much for being on. And I think sharing your vision, where God's taken you, what He has done through your life, and how He has just worked through you, and just giving practical tips of how to just dig deeper, how to grow. And I appreciate you. I appreciate who you are and what God is doing in you and through you and the lives that you're impacting. And you are just such a blessing. So thank you for being on today.
I appreciate you, Alesha. We'll be in touch.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Well, okay, guys, that wraps up this episode. So thank you for listening to The Purpose Effect. Here's the thing, if today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend, you guys. Help get the word out there of I'm not the only one that clearly is living a life of purpose. Shaina is such a powerful example of that. So share this with others. Subscribe. I'm on all major channels. We got YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all of those. Subscribe. Help spread the movement of living a life of purpose. Because here's the thing. I want you to remember this. You are called, you are capable, and you are created with intention. Now, I'm telling you, you need to go and live it.